is their distribution this year. Over half are Pro Maxes, and between the two Pros, that's like 90% of orders. So yeah, it's fun to watch Apple kind of walk this line between being a more pro phone than ever before and this maximalist new design and everything they're doing, but also being literally the most mainstream phone of all time. Like the cameras, might as well start there, right? The cameras are the most pro thing about the Pro iPhone every year. And on one hand, no professional would say, oh yeah, thank gosh I have 8 lenses now in my smartphone, like Apple seems to want us to believe. It clearly has 3. But the 3 cameras you get are more evenly matched than ever. The primary and ultra wide are essentially unchanged from last year, but the telephoto gets a big update. It's now also a 48 megapixel camera, and it's a 4x telephoto lens. Last year was a 5x, but only 12 megapixels. So this new one feels like a more natural portrait focal length. It's roughly 100 millimeter equivalent, and all of your zoom shots will have much more detail and much less noise, thanks to the sensor being much larger and much higher resolution. Now, I will give them credit for the specific 2x zoom increments, because while they are not actually new lenses, they do specifically process each of the images shot in a 2x crop to be slightly sharper and better looking than just a pure digital crop on the middle of the sensor. So, it's not the level of a pure optical zoom, but it's better than nothing. So I don't know why they only do it at these focal lengths, honestly. Either way, it's a really nice total package now. 3 matching 48 megapixel cameras, all of which are super reliable, just as good for casual shooters as they are for people who depend on their iPhone for work, or maybe who happen to have an entire YouTube channel about cars that they happen to shoot all on smartphones. Yeah. Electric G-Wagon review coming to autofocus shot on iPhone 17 Pro very soon. I do still kind of find myself wishing they made some other improvements, like the point light problem at night when you shoot in the dark and those little flares always show up. They haven't fixed that at all. Or even adding 8K video support. There's a 2 terabyte iPhone model now. I feel like 8K video is just a flip of a switch away, but not this year. But the changes are stacking up nicely over the years from older Pro phones like the 13 Pro and the 14 Pro. It's not a huge difference versus last year, but it's nice. Also, what you're watching right now is ProRes RAW footage from the iPhone 17 Pro, which I was particularly excited about because that means I can go into the new Final Cut Pro 11.2, I think it is, and I can literally change ISO and white balance after I shoot, which is very useful. Also, the file sizes are huge. And there's even another Pro feature that they added that they couldn't brand for themselves because pros already use it and named it, and that's Genlock support, which basically lets devices talk to each other so that they can stay in sync over large multi-device shoots. Pretty sick. And also the selfie cameras are more pro than ever. More about that in the 17 base review, but yeah, a lot going on with cameras. So let's be real, 95% of people who get these phones are just gonna point and shoot, and these are more capable and reliable than ever for that. If you want more in-depth stuff on shooting like professionally with this camera, you can check out Tyler Stallman's review, which I'll link below. It's really in-depth, and he shot the whole thing also on the iPhone. My favorite thing about this new Pro iPhone, though, is actually the new design. It's not often that the newest iPhones actually change a lot and get thicker and heavier. But like I said, I think that's kind of one of the best things about them coming out with a separate phone that's designed just to be super thin, so that if you want a thin phone, go get the Air. But if you don't care about that, if that's not one of your priorities, then here's the new Pro, which goes the other direction and isn't afraid of a few extra fractions of an inch. And I love that it's an all unibody metal jacket now. This is not a glass sandwich anymore. Literally the whole body of the phone is metal now, with glass cutouts at the back for wireless charging, and then at the top for those millimeter wave antennas. This makes it more durable, it makes more room inside for a bigger battery, which we'll get to in a second, and there's enough room for a vapor chamber for the first time ever in an iPhone. And then the new plateau at the top. I actually think it's great. This is where I've been putting my index finger on Android phones for years. It's like a natural resting spot to hold up the phone. Same thing with this one now. And Corning's Ceramic Shield 2, in case you haven't already heard, is also clearly awesome for preventing scratches to the front glass. A couple of nitpicks though. No black color Pro phone? You sickos. This is like one of those weird things that it feels like Apple's doing just to spite me, where they're making a bunch of products that should have a black version, but don't. Like the new MacBook Airs come in silver and starlight and sky blue and dark blue, but no black. And then the AirPods Max refresh also comes in a bunch of colors and dark blue, but no black. We need a dark neutral, especially because the color that you pick actually shows up around the front bezel of the phone. So you see the color you pick all the time. It makes the orange and silver that much more annoying to me. I told you it was a nitpick. But then you've probably also already seen the chatter about Scratchgate, which